we're off topic.
No, it's totally cool. I think I finally got it all working. So if I could have someone test the actual audio and make sure, I am so sorry, guys. So needless to say, we're going to be going past my hour mark. God damn it. Today has just been a day, hasn't it?
We always do. Karen.
Hush, you. I don't know what you're talking about. I plead the fifth on this. All right. So, to kind of go back to what I was saying when we first tried to start doing this. Oh, let's see. What has it been now? A half hour. We've not been covering AMC and GME very much lately. And I do apologize for that. And I'm just going to reiterate what I said in the beginning when we started at 10 o'clock. We have great people that have been covering GameStop, King Diamond Hands and Conway and Annihilation and everybody on Twitter that's just doing such a great job. And then we also have, the AMC group. We all know them. You have Trey and Tina Mai and Matt and everybody. So, this is their realm of, just being able to focus on this and understanding it. And they know the ins and outs and all the DD that's been done on these things. And so, we've been focusing on the broad market. But I've been having just a lot of great discussions coming up about, just asking my opinion on how the broad market is going to affect these two beloved stocks of ours, the AMC and GME. And I would love, I have two of my BullHouse staff up here, which I'm so thankful you guys are here tonight. Citadel Air flew off somewhere. I don't know where the hell he went. But it's going to be a big night. I had some different resources. Oh, thank God. Okay. Thank God that, all this crap with my computer didn't just completely destroy everything I had planned for you guys. But yeah, so I have some information, some intel that I was going to share because, I keep saying that AMC and GME are the inverse to the market. And I'm pretty sure that keeps getting lost on what I mean by that. And this comes into a factor of how a stock moves, right? And if we want to get some more people in here and get this tweeted out real quick while we wait just a teensy bit, because I do know I have some people, waiting on some people to join into the YouTube so that they can join in, because I know they like to listen live. So if we want to get this tweeted out for me while we get set up, I would greatly appreciate it, guys. All right. And I'm going to also go grab Munchkin as well so that she can join us. So it could be kind of funny because she's in that stage of wanting to mimic everything that I say. So this could get kind of fun. I'll be right back, guys. There is the Munchkin. Anybody in the spaces, you will have to tune into the. She has found all kinds of kitchen utensils, so that is what she is playing with at the moment. But yeah, so she's gonna be joining us tonight. I know you can kind of barely see her. Can you say hi? Say hi. All right, so what do I mean by the negative beta, revert inverse to the market, which means it has a negative beta, and this actually doesn't occur that often in stocks, because we have it. There's inverses, right? There's actual inverse ETFs and everything that could follow the market in a different way, and so. Right now, what's interesting enough is that AMC and GME are both with negative betas. Actually, GameStop more so in this right now. So let me pull this up. All right. So if we look over here, so this is AMC. AMC currently has a negative 4.66 beta, right? The average, their baseline is 1. if anything is above or below, that is an substantial difference. So your baseline is 1. If it's actually, thank you in front for actually having this. Beta is a statistical measurement that compares the volatility of a stock against the volatility of the broader market, which is typically measured by a reference market index. Since the market is the benchmark, the market's beta is always 1. When a stock has a beta greater than 1, it means the stock is expected to increase by more than the market in up markets and decrease more than the markets in down markets. Conversely, a stock with a beta lower than 1 is expected to rise less than the market when the market is moving up, but fall less than the market when the market is moving down. Despite being rare, a stock may have a negative beta, which means the stock moves opposite the general market trend. And so right now, as we see here, AMC currently has a 4.66, negative 4.66 beta, which is kind of crazy. But then if we also go here to GameStop, we see that GameStop, knowing what we know, is negative 6.60, significantly lower. And so what ends up happening in this instance is that so we've been talking about inverses a little bit here and there, right? Oh, hold on before you get tangled up. No. There you go. She's not wanting to sit on my lap tonight. Every other night, right? So what ends up happening with these, when the market starts crashing, we've talked about this a few times, why I am so not worried about when the market crashes, because I'm not saying if anymore, because, well, let's face it, our powers that be are not getting their heads out of their ass anytime soon. So, we have the debt ceiling to worry about. We have, just the housing market, the cryptos, you name it. There's just the everything bubble. We have this stuff going on in China, the Evergrande stuff that's been, that will affect us. COVID, if it makes its round, these other variants that are making its rounds, and the mandates that, it's all kinds of stuff, right? And so, sorry guys, my daughter is on the loose now. So when it comes to the market going down with these stocks having a negative beta, it will do literally the opposite. When the market goes down, these will go up. So that's where it's like, you know what? If the market crashes, there's the catalyst. And it's an unfortunate circumstance if that's what it comes to as the catalyst for the MOASS, because that means everybody else, the other 7 some odd billion people in the world, are going to be hurting. But we know that it's a possibility. If anybody that is a speaker, if anybody wants to come up and talk about this, you guys are more than welcome. I have to go figure out what my rogue child is doing.
Sure. I'll keep it going for a minute. I've looked at the negative beta aspect of both of them for a while, and it's interesting because I don't know. These past few days it hasn't seemed to have too much of a negative beta. I don't know. Today was a rough day for me on the portfolio. I was just like, oh, SPY goes down, my portfolio goes down. SPY goes up, my portfolio goes down. This is wonderful. But I don't know. These past couple of days, the price action, it really does seem like it's winding up again. And with everything going on, it's really interesting. I look back on some of these things, and I unfortunately was not one of the ones that was in for the January sneeze, if that's what we want to call it. But you look at everything that's going on with the news and the information that continues to keep coming out, and one of the things that I find myself thinking is, okay, well, maybe I wasn't in the stock at the time, but even if you look at all the fuckery that's going on and continues to go on, who's to say that those actions don't impact the future price of the stock, right? If they're, obviously these lawsuits, there's named plaintiffs, named defendants, but if it becomes a broader thing, who's to say that you would even have to hold the stock at that period, because the ripple effects of it obviously continue to affect the market today. So I don't know. That's just one of the things I've been noodling on a little bit.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I mean, the lawsuits alone from this, like, we're already starting to see a lot of them come in, just the one that Annihilation's been going, through or whatever, and it's actually exposing a lot of the different evidence. And I mean, it is damning evidence. I think that's what's insane to me. And I cannot thank him enough for that, doing all that hard work. And I know Wired's been doing some stuff, and anybody that's been tearing into what happened, you're coming here. Come here. All right, YouTube. This is a rare glimpse at Hambone. Oh, he turned. He has our for anyone in the Twitter space. No, you got to keep coming. Keep coming. Okay. Yep. Hi. He has our daughter's unicorn wrap blanket thing. Okay. You can go right off and save our daughter. That is my husband, guys. That is the side you guys don't see.
It's just now appearing on the screen.
Oh. I forget about that little delay there. So yeah, see, he distracts me. He's terrible. But no, I am very excited with what we've been finding out and how we, these stocks, like, God, we've been talking about the stocks. What? Okay, I know there's people that have been holding them for about a year or two, right? Well, that's easy to say. So there's been some people holding it for a year or two, but the vast majority will say going on 10 months. We're going on the 10th month now. And I mean, just the vast information that we found, and the fact, I mean, I want to applaud everybody. The fact that we were effing right with the collusion, with the bullshit, with the secret, oh, hey, no, I didn't talk to them. We didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. F off with this. I mean, the fact that we were right in that they colluded to take the buy button away, that they sold out of their positions and all this other stuff. We were right. That has to make you guys feel amazing, right? Like I feel great because, we're a bunch of knuckleheads, right? Like, that's all we are. We're a bunch of knuckleheads that happen to figure it out. We happened to figure it out and called them on their crap, and they kept at it with the mass media, the mainstream media, going, no, you're wrong, they're wrong, we didn't do that. And now they're tweeting. I did hear one of you, maybe it was Can't Stop, I can't remember which one of you guys said it, but the fact that they came back and they started tweeting, they should have just kept their mouth shut. They should have just kept it shut. And now they look even guiltier than they ever have. So, I mean, hats off to you guys. Like, heck yeah. Now I have had some questions. If I do believe, what my thought process are on AMC and GME. Guys, I've said this from the beginning. GME is the OG. GME will have a better MOASS. I mean, it is literally the OG MOASS. Like, they haven't diluted their shares. There's more there's more shares to AMC. Now, back in January, February, I was, I could have said, yeah, maybe, possibly, it could be, a half of what GME was. But we have to remember that they have, released a lot of shares for AMC. In January, roughly, there was 125 million, and now we're sitting over 500 million. That's a lot. That is a lot of shares. And I say this as one of the AMC OG apes, right? Like, it's what I, was really researching. And it hurts me to say that, It really does. This is not me saying AMC won't squeeze. AMC will still have a squeeze. It's still very shorted. It still has its own crap that it has behind. But when it comes to which one will go higher, guys, basic principles here. The one that has less, that's been shorted the most, will go higher. Then that would be GameStop, right? Can I better watch saying WTF? Just like little bit said stop it after you. What? I missed that, D. I completely missed it, I guess. But I just want to put that out there. I mean AMC, GME, Nokia, all of the shorted stocks, they're all connected through different ways. So once one pops off, I do believe almost all of them will pop off in one degree or another. They're not going to be in the same effect by any means, because Nokia and BlackBerry and all of them, they don't have the same community as AMC and GME, and AMC and GME have been everywhere. They're plastered everywhere. There's no billboards out saying, hey, why don't you FOMO into BlackBerry, why don't you FOMO into Ocugen, FOMO into XYZ. Not XYZ is not a ticker. I'm sorry. I mean, it could be, but not to my knowledge. So, I don't think there should be any concern, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice, not anything. It's just from what I read, what I research, anything that I've gained throughout all of these last 10 months of just reading. I mean, when I read and read and read and read, you're long on Nokia. Hey, that's cool. I know Nokia, BlackBerry, Naked, Sundial. Sundial gets a little shaky since the merger, and they had some funky stuff. But I have no doubt about it. Right. If I ever have a doubt about MOASS, if I ever have a doubt about one or the other stocks, like if there's something, and I mean, I've blown up my own community because, I release information that I see. And that's why, I don't know if anybody actually caught the fact in my bio, I've actually added in there, like I will say things that you need to hear, maybe not what you want to hear. Right. And I just call it out. If I see something kind of weird, I'm going to say something because I want answers. It's not that I'm being malicious. I'm not being divisive. And it's going to go for GameStop, AMC, Nokia, anything, Treasury. I'm calling them all out, right? So it's not to be divisive. I'm not trying to start shit or anything like that. I just want answers. I'm like, hey, what the hell is this? Like, why is this not being talked about? And sure enough, we get answers. That's how you get answers, is if you ask the questions. And so I want that always to be known out there, is that I am the last person that will ever try to cause division in the communities. I am for everybody. I'm an advocate for Main Street, right? I want to know answers. And so if I don't believe in one or the other based on what I am seeing, and if I just kind of want to call bullshit on it after a while, know that it comes from a good place, right? If I ever do that, it comes from a place of, okay, there's something really wrong. But right now, as I'm sitting here today with you talking, I see nothing. I don't see any reason why they don't both go. I don't. Will one go higher? Yes. Will one maybe have a few more dips and whatnot? Probably, based on how many shares there are with AMC. It's untelling. This has never been seen before. We've never experienced anything like this. The turbulence in the markets in general is insane. The faith in everything. Yeah, I'll say it that way. The faith in the markets, and the government and everything, it's lacking. There is no faith in anything. And so we don't know how this is going to go. All we can do is sit and wait and kind of just keep reading, keep researching, keep, kind of preparing ourselves, for the worst, I've said that numerous times. The worst thing that happens is if I'm wrong when it comes to the market crash, is that everybody's prepared and able to be self-sufficient. That's the worst thing that happens if I'm wrong. If they're wrong and the market crashes in or if they're wrong, having had said, oh no, we're fine, the market's fine, the economy's fine, and then it crashes, people are going to be left holding the bag and going, what the fuck? Again, just like 29 in the 80s, .com bubble. Oh wait, there's a pattern here, right? So that's mainly what I've got for you guys on this. I know they've been going down. These stocks are going down. I've had questions about, do I think it's squeezed? Have the shorts covered? No, I don't. I do not. And why is that? Because, well, GameStop. Thank you, effing GameStop, for being the OG and the basic, golden child, I guess.
Like a reference.
Huh?
GameStop is like more like a reference.
Yeah, it is. Because so GameStop's going down, right? It went down. It's probably lost what, $25-$30 in the last week or two. But there were no shorts covered. I mean, for fuck's sake, Germany holds the float. We have seen that. We have seen that Germany, one country in the entire world, owns the float of GameStop. What the hell do the rest of us own? Right? It's a bunch of IOUs, synthetics, bullshit stock. That still has to be covered. The shorts are a debt owed, and synthetics are illegal, 100%. Hey, hedge funds, if you guys didn't know that, it is illegal. I can definitely pull up the rules and regulations for you. I think they're saved on my computer. It's illegal. They're trying everything they can not to have to cover those. So, that tells me, and AMC has been following its brother. Their charts look very similar on most days. They're in the same predicament. They're in the exact same predicament. It's just one or the other. M3, feel comfortable giving price point for AMC, GME. Ugh. I have my own conservative. Okay. Do I do it, guys? I have a conservative and I have ape sentiment. That's how I do it. I have those. I stick to them, and I haven't changed it since March. That's probably terrible since March not to change your price points. Naked shorts, right? Because they can short. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, she says. Can't stop. Can you tell me what the ape sentiment price is right now? Ape sentiment, not your floor price.
I'm actually not sure, but I think it's somewhere around like 40 or 50 million.
That's what I thought it was. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I've said it numerous times, and I really don't care. Conservative. Okay, I'm gonna preface this with this. Floor is the price on the way down. We all know this, right? It's not on the way up. Floor is not on the way up. Floor is the last price that you're willing to sell at on the way down. And I know, GameStop, GME people, I hear you. You're not selling the game. Stocks only go up. I know this, okay? But this is just for the average ape, not the GME apes. Because you guys are a different breed. I've learned that the last 2 months. The GME apes are a whole different breed. But, and I say that with all love. You know that, right? Like, that's all love. It's just it's a fun community. You guys are ruthless. Okay, so floor price is on the way down. Bottom price you're going to sell at. It's not the ceiling price. I'm not saying any of that, okay? But conservative price in my head, AMC, conservative is 10,000. I know.
No, I'm
Hush,
just kidding.
hush you.
Just kidding.
Hush you. That's my conservative. And remember, these have been since March, and this was based on data that me and a few friends collected and everything. I just haven't changed this because this is literally like the bottom, right? This is like on the way down. Like hell, that means I'm holding all the way through whatever, right? But these are just based on this stuff, right? Let's see. So 10K for AMC. Ape sentiment price. I've seen somewhere between 250, 500, and $1 million. I don't know what the hell AMC apes are thinking at this point. I really don't. I've been so out of touch with it. But I'm not going to rule it out. I won't rule these numbers out at all. I will not rule out the ape sentiment numbers because we don't know what's going to happen. So that's AMC. GME? GME I had at about 125K. Again, my conservative from March. My own personal floor that we figured out was 125K. That's a damn good paycheck if you ask me. But ape sentiment, as we've heard, I believe if we look up the floor price point thing, it's about 50 million per share. Again, floor, so who knows? I do not rule anything out, guys. This is not me saying these are what these stocks are going to go to. This is not me saying I believe 100%. This is I believe it's going to be fucking crazy. And you hear my cussing tonight, like, and that's just how mind blown I am because I usually don't. I've been trying really not to, but it's going to be crazy. I don't rule out crazy. 2020 happened. Our entire world shut down. I don't rule anything out anymore, guys. I don't. So those are the price points. I can retweet out the price tags given these price points. Actually, I'd have to update some of them. But I can if you guys really want to retweet this to Citadel to let them know what the price tag of MOASS is, and I mean it's in the trillions, and actually the highest point for GameStop, if they bought the float, 100% of the float, and if given what we know with GameStop, it'd be like they have to buy it 7 times over at this point. But if they had to buy 100% of the float, it was in the quadrillions for the price tag. So not looking too good for them at this point. Yeah, I can't stop. What's going
on? So a couple things. So Houston Wade actually like broke it down really good one time when I was listening to him. And you're gonna have some people that sell, on the way up. It's gonna happen. Like people have been holding for a long time. Some people aren't like into the community as like there's this regular retail that holds it that aren't part of the, really into the community and all. Anyways, some people are gonna sell on the way up. Like, and some people will sell on the way down. But it's like there's gonna be like the computers are gonna be buying, right? It's like it's gonna be a point where the computers are the ones that are gonna be buying, and it's just gonna fucking whatever's there, it's just gonna buy at whatever price. And he's like, at it's gonna be crazy. Maybe at some point in time, right, in that fucking split second, somebody has their shares. One share is sitting for 69,420,609. What just a crazy ass meme number, and that's all that's going to be available at that split second. And the computer doesn't have a fucking feeling. It's there to close the shit out, and somebody's going to sell a share for an astronomical fucking amount.
And actually, that just tied into Dee's question. So, okay, so that's the bottom. As long as you're doing it, what's the ceiling? D, these are infinite. These can go infinite money. This is stupid. Like, and and I have to give it to Graham. I don't know if you guys actually watch him on YouTube. Graham, he's a phenomenal financial person. he called it back in March or April that they'd be infinite stock. And I hadn't quite wrapped my head around it. Like, I had to really try to dive into it. But they are... They are...
It says it. It says it. Like,
Yeah.
infinite loss. Like, so
Infinite.
if they can have infinite loss, we can have infinite gain. That means, like, there is no limit. Right? There's no limit to the loss that the shorts can incur, and since we're on the opposite end of that, their trade, there's infinite gain that we can fucking get out of it. It's like, if nobody sells until the fucking shit gets to whatever 50, if literally nobody fucking sold and they have to close this shit out, and it just keeps going 100,000, 500 million, 2 million, 3 million, and nobody is selling shit, and it fucking reaches 50 million before people start selling, then that's what the fuck is going to happen.
Isn't that insane?
Or that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, in theory. Like, in theory. And and this is, again, like, Can't Stop is, everyone, Houston Wade and everyone, like, I can't wait to be able to team up with him in the next week or so. We're guessing. We are guessing. I mean, it could go parabolic. Who knows? Especially with the circuit breakers and everything. We don't know. I just got chills because I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this does, because it is so once in a lifetime opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime event. Everything that is colliding right now, everything that is happening, we will be in history books, economic books, and everything. It's going to be insane. And I brought it up to Quinn and Finley probably back in March. I asked them, I said, what is it actually going to be like for you to know that your documentary will probably be shown to kids, grandkids of all the apes? Like, they're going to learn about this event through their documentary. How crazy is that? Right? Like, that's mind-blowing. And actually, speaking of fun events to document, I kind of wanted to, and I'll pick your guys' brains, I'm willing to try to host a 24 48 hour virtual sit-in. Let's draw some attention, right? Sit in, we talk about the stock markets, talk about what's going on, how everybody got in, and kind of things like that. Just very, I see people wanting to go and protest. I don't want to see that. That just gives them an opportunity to make us look bad. And there could be, bad players that come in, and it does not look good. But I was thinking about doing that either on Discord, Twitter Space, but broadcasting on YouTube, keeping it up. I mean, I'll have to definitely keep my phone plugged in. But I have a pretty stable connection, and, but we can do a large sit-in for 24, 48 hours to just rotate out people if we need to, if that's hosting or whatever, meaning like the co-host to let people in. But, this way people can stay home. You don't have to fly anywhere. You don't have to, risk being exposed to God only knows what. I'm not just saying COVID or anything like that, like the flu or just bad actors. I see people wanting to do these protests, and I cannot get behind it. I really can't. So I think the virtual thing would be kind of cool. I mean, what are your guys' takes on it?
I mean, it sounds good to me. It's a lot better than going out in the streets, and like, there's always guaranteed to be some sort of infiltrators, or even if there isn't, some people may not be on their best behavior. They might be drinking a little too much, taking some chemicals. It's just unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, we have to be very careful with these sorts of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Like you said, you'd have to keep everything charged up for sure. Like, doing it on a Twitter Space would be really tough because I think phones are the only thing that work. But I don't know. I mean, I guess my thought, which again, not trying to be overly critical, but I mean, like, what, obviously it's a great alternative as opposed to a protest, because I think, yeah, based on what you said, I mean, we're on the same page in terms of that. But I guess, yeah, what would it be reasonably expected to achieve? And even to Dee's point, like, yeah, I mean, infiltration, like, I mean, if it does kind of pick up steam and stuff like that, we could definitely have some, randoms come in to derail.
I mean, I think that. So the idea is just to, gosh, one, what's the longest Twitter space ever held? Two, I have my phone is an iPhone. I have a fast charger. I can sit here and charge my phone, and it actually charges while I'm hosting these, so I'm not too worried about that. But the idea is just to kind of just draw the attention, right? Like, gather all the apes. I mean, how cool would that be to get as many apes as possible, just to, hang out and, oh, hey, this is still going for 24 hours. Oh, this is still going 36 hours. Holy shit, what are they talking about? And I think that would kind of get some of the, one, bring the communities together. And it doesn't matter, AMC, GME, Nokia, I don't give a damn. Whatever. But just kind of show the community side of it, right? I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, to do that, I mean, I would say, like, getting like a YouTube or a Twitch component and, tagging it, properly would be important, because, I mean, those things kind of pick up steam, over time, or they tend to, from what I see.
Yeah, we'll have to, I mean, all of us can discuss it. Go ahead, Citadel.
I'm sorry, is there any chance we can get, like, didn't, like, David versus Goliath have, like, run some, like, insane, like, 3-day weekend long space call? And I think at the end of it, it was like 8 hours of him just snoring. He might be good to add to it.
I mean, I don't want anybody staying up more than they need to, because I'm sorry, I I will be sleeping, because, well, hi, child, and lack of sleep does not make a good parent. But we can figure out if everybody wants it. Like, if there's a lot of people that have interest in this, and if some of the BullHouse staff can help facilitate and run, and obviously, like, I'd have, like, Can't Stop and, people that have been around, whoever I really trust to help run the spaces, because apparently, I mean, we're all up at random ass hours of the day. I don't know. I think it would be very, very cool. We'll figure this out. I kind of want to do this soon. I think it would be very fun. Please, who sleeps, right? That's what I'm saying. What is sleep? What is it? No, I try to sleep. I try to at least get 6 hours. Try is the definitive word there. Sorry, Sparky. What data source proves that computers will buy at any price? I believe that the computers will buy in tranches with limit orders that might be $10 to $50 over the ask. Won't high frequency trading algorithms optimize the buy price or strategically short to prevent the price going completely parabolic? Pone hosted a 12 to 18 hour chat. I don't remember the total, but it went through the night and well into the day after. Interesting. Does anybody want to take that in your opinion? And I can touch on it too.
I mean, just off the top, I mean, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, there's a lot of other people that are way more up to speed, like on the algos than I am. But I mean, it almost seems like they would have to be tinkering with it in order to make that happen, right? Because that's certainly not the way they work right now. I don't know whether they use market or limit orders, and I mean, they, obviously, like, recognize patterns, go long or short based on those patterns, and just, do their thing. I mean, but to that point, I mean, even like limits over the ask or something like that, I somewhat doubt that that's in the algo's playbook, at this point. And so, like, for an algo to be doing that, they would have to be tinkering and changing it, like, on the fly, like in a production environment, which, I mean, I don't know, that to me, I mean, that's kind of my wheelhouse right there, is this, you know, technology and change management and understanding, like, you know, programs, how they work, get promoted through different environments, like controls around that kind of thing. And if you think about the money that's at stake and stuff like that, I mean, I don't know of an IT department out there that is that agile that would be able to change things on the fly, or like in a controlled environment for like a you know, public company that's subject to, you know, SOX requirements and things like that, that would you know, even have the ability to change things like that on the fly in production. So I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting point, but I mean, for those kind of black swan events, I mean, I just don't know that the algos necessarily have that in their wheelhouse. Although maybe they could. I mean, based on like a set of extreme conditions.
And it kind of circles back to, I mean, I don't have the answer. It's an open-ended question because, I mean, I don't, it's not my niche, but since history usually tends to repeat itself, how much, I mean, we obviously learned quite a bit from the 2010 flash crash, but how much of the algo code was changed? I mean, is it going to be for people running down the hallway trying to pull out, you know, Cat6 cabling to turn off the servers if there's another flash crash, or have they actually coded it, you know, with safeguards in place, like Alistair was saying, with, you know, limit orders? But I think the algos don't really have the human subjective element that knows that you shouldn't be trading Microsoft for a penny, and you know, a penny stock for 420,000, you know, per share. I just don't know if that's actually been corrected.
So, um, so Houston actually, like, back in February. I can't wait till you have him on. I think it's going to be a really good uh, call. But he put out like this long ass DD on Twitter. That account ended up getting taken down, but it got like millions of whatever tweets or follows or some shit. But there's actually like a playbook about, like, so it's in reference to like when they get margin called and they're getting liquidated is what I was referencing. So like when they get margin called, and if their ass gets liquidated, that's when the fucking like DTC, I think it's the DTC computers, come in and start closing those positions at a rapid pace without any emotion or human element. Although, so that was then, right? Like it's set up. It's like, I think he has the, like, he posted the documents where it states all that shit. But who knows? Maybe like from the time, you know, from February till now, they've been fucking working on some crazy ass fucking algorithm or whatever it, you know, shit, to specifically for this event, for the scenario that we're gonna be in, that they're currently in. Like, who knows? But if they haven't changed it, then that's how it's supposed to go. When someone gets margin called and liquidated, the computer steps in and fucking closes out positions at whatever price. And I don't, like, me personally, I don't think they're gonna let anybody short the fucking stock when it goes parabolic. I don't think they're gonna allow that to happen, because it's like this whole thing started because of these motherfuckers, you know, fucking risking, just being idiots, right? Cocky idiots is what this whole thing like started with, and I don't think they're gonna let anybody fucking short it when it's going parabolic. But that's just my guess.
I mean, how the hell are you going to short it? Like, I mean, do you realize how much money you'd have to have if this thing's going off and you're trying to short the damn thing? There's not enough money in the world for that. Plus, then having to cover that position. Like, I don't know. Oh, Sparky's joining us. Hey, Sparky. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good. So yeah, the reason I brought up a couple of those comments is I had read one or watched one of the documentaries with Dave Lauer and a couple of the other guys, and they talked about some of the different tricks and things they can do with the high frequency trading. So when you think back to what you were saying at 125,000 floor price, that was what, something in the quadrillion range? So if you think about that much money being on the line, a lot of the other rules might go out the window. And how much time have the apes spent talking about how the MOASS is going to play out? What do you think Citadel's doing at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday with the lights on? They're potentially wargaming it as well.
Oh no, 100%. Hey, Johnny Rocket, I see you in there. How are you tonight? But no, I 100% agree with you. I hope they're planning and they're figuring it out, because it's insane. It's 100% insane. And the fact that it all really does go back to our government. The fact that they're even allowing all this to happen, like they obviously see us tweeting to them. They see us going out of our way to be like, hey, dum-dums, are you seeing this? Do you see what's happening? And it just goes ignored, and they're like, God, I don't even know what the hell they're doing at this point. Like, looking at memes. Like, they're literally printing out massive 4-foot by 3-foot memes, and using them as a reference point during their bickering for bills. Like, are you? I don't get it.
Yeah, a couple other things that I've thought a lot about. So back to that documentary, the one with Dave Lauer and some of the other guys, they talked about how the machines would, it was like a race to zero latency. That they're trying to get the high frequency computers to run as fast as possible. So they were laying more and more better cable. They're actually moving their offices closer and closer to New York if they can save a couple of microseconds. Sometimes that's the difference of getting ahead of another firm and being able to buy ahead of them and then sell to them. It's crazy how much control they have and how fast the computers can think. So like, a random retail investor in the Midwest, they click the buy button, and then it might take, a half second to get to New York, and then another half second to get back to give you a fill. And in that time, the high frequency trader can see it coming down the pipe because they've got access to level 2 data, but it hasn't actually hit the market yet. They could buy ahead of it and sell to that retailer. And that's not even with market maker privileges. That's just high frequency trading. So I believe that they can watch a lot of that. They can also do things like spoofing, where they'll just pump in 100,000 different orders that they all cancel immediately. But what that does is it tricks the other computers into thinking there's a massive buy wave coming in, so they'll start to buy ahead of it. But then the first computer pulls all its orders back out, tricks the other guy into buying, and then potentially sells or shorts into it as that wave crashes back down. There's a lot of cat and mouse tricks back and forth. And I feel like with the amount of money that's on the line, just to expect fuckery, there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on. The other question I have is, when we talk about paying out, whatever, a quadrillion, where does the money come from? So we say it, it comes from liquidating all the hedge funds positions, but the price of the stocks is relative to, whatever the bid and ask is at the time. So if you suddenly have 5 times as many sellers as you have buyers, the stock could drop 30%, 50%, 100%, depending on how urgently they're trying to get out of those positions. And then at some point they have no money left, and then it rolls up and rolls up. But even when you get to the DTC, I believe that's a group of participants that have collective pooled assets. So I wonder where the money comes from, and at a certain point when we're talking about, however many millions per share, is there enough money? Like, does enough money exist to pay that out at those levels?
Yep. Well, yeah. Those are really good points. I as you were kind of talking about some of the things that Dave covered, like in the documentary, I mean, I remember watching it. I wasn't sure if I'd seen it, but based on what you covered off, I've definitely heard those things before. Yeah, I mean the latency and moving closer and doing all of that. Yeah, I mean it's a very competitive game at the top, and yeah, I mean we're at a significant disadvantage. Like when it comes to that, I mean some of the liquidation questions are definitely things that I've been asking myself, and I mean that's one of the. I mean, I guess it's one of the reasons like I believe in broker diversification quite a bit because I mean, if nothing else, you've got the minimum like insured limits for those securities. But I mean, if you think about, I mean, if it really does get into a mass liquidation event where they're having to sell off the remainder of their portfolio to try to buy to close. I mean, there's going to be market-wide halts, right? I mean, there's going to be halts on this thing, like on the there's going to be individual stock halts like on the way up, constantly almost. I mean, that's one of the things we talked about is okay, like theoretically to get to those kind of levels, like how long would it actually take? Given that every 10% or so in a given time frame, like the stock is going to be halted. And then if you think about like mass liquidation events, like the entire market, I mean, the SEC can step in and kind of.
Yeah. So I agree with your point on potentially having a market-wide stop of just closing the exchanges at a certain point. If let's say the entire market dropped 8%, 12% within a 2-hour period, I could see that happening of just calling it for the day and then regrouping for the next day. But the other point I was going to ask about the trading halts. So I believe 10% is the trigger for the halt, but that's not where you pick back up. So let's say you've got a severe imbalance of buy and sell orders with a massive rise, say you jump 10 or 20% and that halts it. You could pick up 30% higher than that, I believe. I'm not an expert, but then you start from that new leapfrogged position. And then from there, you may hit another 10 or 20% up, and then that may trigger another stop if there's a mass imbalance. I believe it's more about the balance of the buy and sell orders than it is about the percentage of movement of the stock. Because if you have such a big imbalance of, say, 5 buys to 1 sell, and they're all hitting the ask, you can gap up massively quickly. And as far as tricks, that's another thing that I kind of expect to, even when we're talking about potential MOASS situation, we get into, say, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 in that range. If the market makers were to play with the bid ask, and let's say there's a halt, they let it jump 50%, you go from 10,000 to 15,000, and then they just do a massive spike down. So like think back to March 10th, Mario Day. That was the day where we ran from like 280 up to 348, and then it dropped to $172 in like 20 minutes. Do you remember that one? And then at least I started to wonder, like, oh my gosh, did I make a huge mistake? Is this all falling apart? And I could see changes like that happening where you go from 10,000 to 15,000 on one halt. Then it drops to 2,500 by the end of the day. And then will people say, oh, it's squeezed, it's over. Forget about GameStop. Here's 3 more stocks that you should be paying attention to. So that's where I see the strategic shorting happening. And it almost doesn't matter if they have the money or the shares or not, because once they're ahead, 75% on their position, that they shorted it from 15,000 to 10,000, and then people sold from 10,000 to 2,500. I could see those things happening.
So I posted a couple things up in the little nest. One of them is from Reddit about the trading halts and like what prices you could expect if we were to have halts while it was squeezing, and at what price point we'd be by like end of day, the next day, or the third day. And then there's also like a movie about what you guys are talking about, the high frequency trading and those cables and the microseconds and the fucking I mean, 2 or 3 microseconds can mean the difference of billions and billions and billions of dollars for one firm more than another. But to touch on what you were saying about, so the price in the quadrillions, right? That amount, that would be if everybody held and nobody sold, and everybody sold at the very top, which is not going to happen. People are going to be selling up on the way up, and and so it's not like all the shares that are being held are going to be held till the very top, and it's going to cost that much. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I meant more of like an average. Let's say the average is whatever X number of 50 or 100,000, where that may be 2 million shares were sold at a million plus, and then 50 million shares were sold in the the 5-digit thousands, but the average came out to something still pretty high.
So I think
yeah,
I was just going to tack on some of my thoughts. So when it comes to covering at this point, okay, so if we talked about back in February, March about it, I was pretty confident in okay, yeah, you have the hedge fund, and then you have the clearinghouse and the DTC and yep, my brain just totally screwed up.
CFTC.
Yes, that one. Thank you. But then I also branched off, the banks and the different institutions that are also linked to these that have that have funds in this that they could also be liquidated. Like, it's a whole big mess. And then it goes to the Treasury. Well, thanks, government. You just kind of obliterated my faith in the Treasury, because our Treasury is draining itself right now because, well, they haven't passed our debt ceiling. And so it would basically bypass the Treasury, and then the printers just go freaking burr. Because at the end of the day, and this is something I have to make sure that you understand, is that these short positions, the things that they are doing, if they get margin called, and even if they don't get margin called, their debt's owed. The companies didn't go bankrupt. They're not going under. They're not going anywhere. And I highly doubt any ape is going to allow AMC or GME or any of these others to go anywhere. And so they have to pay them back, or they just keep sitting here paying fines and fines and fines, and they eventually get liquidated anyway, or margin called, and then they get liquidated. So, I mean, it's why we can't be putting timelines or, hyping dates or anything like that, because it's positive FUD. That's what I call it. You guys can make fun of me all you want, but it's positive FUD. This date's going to be great. This date's going to be epic because of X, Y, Z. No, we don't know. We don't know. Quadruple Witching Day. We all were getting, a lot of people got excited for Quadruple Witching Day. And guess what? Everything just tanked that day. It was red. Just like every other Quadruple Witching Day. And so it's just, I don't know why no one's learned this yet with the Quadruple Witching Day. It's always red. So the last resort is the government bailing out whoever to cover their debts. So, and as we've learned, they can print money. So it's just, and that's when it becomes the thing like Hambone and I have talked about is, having a plan for your MOASS money and not just sitting on it, because we don't know what the dollar is going to do in the next year because of everything they have going on, right? This is a big reason we wanted to, really go into the broad market. What is affecting us? What's going to happen? Everything else like that, right? You got to have a plan, and you can't have plan unless you look at everything. So, yeah, I can't stop.
All right. So I was just thinking, right? Let's say they got to buy. This is just for GME, right? Let's say they got to buy, twice the float, right? Let's say there's, 154 million shares they got to buy, and average is 500,000, right? Some people sold for a million, some people sold for 1,000, whatever. Let's just say 500,000. It comes up to 77 trillion, right? It's like, you take that, pay off the national debt. I mean, but these are just like high numbers. You know, the average could be lower. It could be less shares they need to buy. It could be more shares that they want to buy. Some people are not gonna fucking like. There's a lot of people who are just gonna hold shares for, you know, the infinity pool. That's like a whole nother thing too on top of that. But I mean, it could always be an asset to borrow against, you know, if they can't fucking cash us out. But I mean, even if like the average was, you know, still the 154 million shares, and you know, it's everyone the average out at 125 grand is only 19. I mean, it's only 19 trillion. You know, it's not much. But, I mean, it's a lot.
Only 19 trillion. You know, our national debt's at like
Only.
28 trillion or some shit. It's only 19. It's good. No worries.
Yeah, and I want to clarify. I want the MOASS to happen. I believe it's going to get to very high heights. I'm just trying to think through the mechanics of it, the actual blocking and tackling of, you know, what will happen throughout, just to anticipate surprises. And I think at some point there's going to be a market maker that knows that hitting the, you know, buy all at market button that we were talking about earlier, where you go from, you know, up to 69 million, and that's the only share that's available, and they try to buy it. But at some point, that's going to be the difference of a market maker closing their door and firing 10,000 people, you know, firing their entire workforce and liquidating, you know, what, a 50, 100-year legacy of a company. I think that's going to make people cheat, or certainly have a
100%.
strong inclination to.
It hasn't stopped
So-
them now.
Right, yeah. Look
Yeah.
at what they've already done. So I don't know that we should expect that suddenly they're going to start following all the rules, especially with
Oh God, no. No, no, no.
incredibly sophisticated computers that they have. You know, that there's a lot of little tricks and things they can do. So anyway, I'm just trying to kind of work through all that.
Yeah.
No, hey
No, I
Sparky,
think, look, we all appreciate it. Like, I mean, I think it's really important to think through those kind of things. And I mean, I've like had similar thoughts, right, in terms of trying to work it out. So I mean, there's definitely a place for that in this conversation. And I think it's really important to try to think through the mechanics and how it would happen, what the, you know, potential pitfalls are, and things like that. So
Yeah, and I do think people are going to open new shorts throughout the MOASS, thinking, "This is it. I don't believe it. These apes are stupid. This is it. You know, this one right here, whatever that number is,
yeah,
500,
the thing
1,000,
is,
10,000."
yeah, this is a little bit tangential, but I mean, that's what pisses me off. It's like, okay, let's say I were to do that, right? Let's say I were to open a short, like, in the middle of this thing, and it spikes up another candle. Guess what happens? I get fucking margin called. Well, you know, what happens with the, you know, the market makers and the big players when they do it well? You know, they have time, and then they get to negotiate it, and then they could, a $3 billion margin call. Okay, let me pay 700 million, right? Like, I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable. You know, the privileges that you have in terms of, you know, being at the table. And I mean, I think all of us at some level understand that that's how business works, but at the same time, I mean, it is pretty fucked up. Pardon my French.
No, no worries. No, Sparky, I did have a question. When did you get into GameStop? This isn't any derogatory thing. I'm just curious.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I was. I came to GameStop from politics after the election. I was looking for a new hobby. Maybe that's it. I heard about it on the news, so yeah, I bought my first 2 shares at $3.80 on January 29th.
Oh, right in the heart.
That's where I started. Yeah, I learned the difference between a market order and a limit order very quickly.
Oh no.
Yeah, because GameStop closed at 193. That was actually the first stock I'd ever bought, like individual security. I mean, I had 401k and all that, but that's the first ever like single stock I ever bought. And yeah, I went into it, like completely confused, and yeah, it closed 193 the night before, and then I bought it 380 the next morning. I'm like, what? What's happening?
Oh man, like you straight up YOLO and FOMO.
Yeah, 2 shares. I I didn't YOLO, thankfully. I'm a very generally cautious person that tiptoes into things. And yeah, I learned a lot more before I put any more money on the line. But yeah, that's how I started. And I think a lot about the mechanics of just how things work, and listen to a lot of different people talk. I really like Uncle Bruce, so I've listened to him a lot about how some of the different dynamics work of actually being in the rooms as the decisions are made, and some of the backstory of just how the sausage is made, and then obviously like Dave Lauer and Suzanne Trimbath, and listen to a lot of them to try to piece together the structure of everything.
100%. No, I can appreciate that. Like the reason I was asking is it's just very nice to hear these kinds of conversations again, because we've been talking, gosh, I think I was talking structure and kind of breaking it down, and kind of at the same time Houston Wade was doing it, how it all kind of worked back in February, March. So it's just very nice to hear that people are, it's not all just out there, right? Like, because this reaffirmed how I think the community needs to be, because just because Citadel Air's heard the answer, and Hallister's heard the answer, and Dee's probably heard me talk about it a million times, but there's always somebody new coming into my community, or going into somebody else's community that hasn't actually heard what we've been talking about. And this is where I tell everyone, like, it's up to everybody to kind of help teach everybody, right? That's the amazing thing about the ape community. So no, that's why I was asking, because it's really awesome to hear those questions still being asked, and even by somebody that has been in since January. That's phenomenal. So I appreciate it so much, more than you know. All right, guys. Al's gonna be the last one I bring up. Sorry, Sparky. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying thanks. I'll punch out and I'll listen for a while.
Sounds good.
Hey, Kenna.
Hold on. We do have a order here. So Antimatter, you're first, and then Penny, then Al, and these are gonna be the last three, and then we're gonna call it a night, because I'm getting bombarded by Jamaican that he wants everybody over there. So Antimatter, what do you got for me?
All right. So I think we've all heard kind of a mean joke where if I owe the bank like $100, that's my problem. But if I owe the bank $100 million, that's their problem. As we think through the market mechanics of this MOASS and what potential pitfalls might happen, like behind closed doors. If the stock price reaches these the ape sentiment numbers, I would not be surprised if these market makers, the DTCC, etc., if they start meeting with leaders of like the nation, trying to figure out how are we going to handle this, because at this point it's the losses are much more than any one company can handle. This might potentially roll up into like a national problem. And so one of the elephants in the room that I've certainly thought about, but I have not heard much conversation on is I wouldn't be surprised if like regulators get together with the GameStop board, and essentially kind of, for lack of better phrasing, essentially give them an ultimatum. You need to release more shares so that these guys could get off the hook and close out their problem. So, I'm curious what the process or what the procedure for this kind of situation would be from that kind of a perspective. Is it possible for like the government, for the SEC, who have you, to demand or pressure GameStop into releasing more shares so that those shares could go to these shorts?
Sorry, can I know someone else is next, but I mean, for all we know, that they probably could have already, had that meeting and asked that question and got turned down. Like,
And
we
that's
don't
fair.
know. It could be a possibility that it already did happen, or it could happen. I mean, or who knows? Maybe we'll end up on the blockchain and fuck the DTC and all that other shit. I mean, the shorts are not GameStop, fucking Ryan Cohen, or any investors' fucking problem. It's their problem. And it's a matter of national security and all this shit. I mean, it wasn't a matter of national security. I get what you're saying, though. I mean, anything is possible. I think that's the discussion that we're always having. Like, we're always guessing what could happen, and like, I mean, yeah, we just don't know, but anything's possible, I guess.
Hey, Kenna.
Yes,
So they're having a big that thing with Jew. The thing is, they're saying in the next few days, the next like week or so, there's going to be supposedly a team of people trying to convince everybody that squeeze has happened. So they broke up everyone's space calls to let them pass this around, saying that this group is going to infiltrate all of our subreddits and Twitter and all this stuff to convince us that the shorts have covered, and they haven't. That's all that is. That being said, you made a statement earlier about educating one another. The problem with this group inherently, and this is all because of the apes and stuff in the beginning and people that have come along. It's the inherent hubris and the narcissism that couples along with having some knowledge. I have been on this market for years, and I have been doing stocks, options, derivatives markets, futures, and stuff. And I have seen bigger egos here on Reddit and Twitter than I have being in an environment filled with Ivy Leaguers that were like the meat eaters of Harvard and at Wharton. And it's incredible. Like, everybody is out for themselves. Everything is just so convoluted, and people just don't understand what the hell's going on. They're looking for a payout, but the problem is they're so inherently just, and I hate to use this word, greedy, and they're not patient. They're just not. And it's so disheartening to see, because I see it happening, and it's like I just want to shake somebody and say, "Dude, calm the hell down. You gotta get a hold of yourself and not freak out and all this other stuff." And it's getting to that climactic point where people are just willing to sell just to get away from other apes. Like, I hate to say it that way, but I've been seeing that lately. I've been hearing about it. Somebody said the other day to me, "I just want to dump these shares so I can stop being around these people. They're toxic." And I was like, that's kind of sad. So what I'm trying to do instead is just try to like be as helpful as I possibly can with other people, share insight, and just be kind. I think a lot of this stuff is inherently with the stress behind holding. There is this phenomena of being under distress because you have the shares and you're being pulled in 11 different directions. I think people, like, I don't know who you guys are in your groups and stuff, what kind of people you are, but the best thing you can do for each other is just be nice, just be kind. You know, people lose track of that stuff, man. Who, me? You guys are funny. Hi, Michael. Absolutely, go ahead. Volume.
guys, I don't know what happened to my mic. Okay, so but anyway, it's been that night, right? It's been that night on YouTube tonight, guys. But no, if I the MOASS has not happened. The shorts have not covered. We can see this with data with Bloomberg. I don't care what kind of service you have at this point, right? If you have, you know, whether it's Ortex or, you know, if you're fortunate enough to have Bloomberg terminals, if you have, you know, like if you even want to get on Fintel, right, it's free. I can pretty much tell you that no, the shorts have not covered it. You can go into the SEC files. You can see the Citadel and 0.72, and everybody has their positions still going, right? It's I will be here if the MOASS is happening. If I start seeing kind of crazy ass movement, yeah, I will be live. Whether it's you know, if it's I might be throwing up a Twitter space first and then probably panicking trying to get all this set up onto my computer, and you know, it'll probably be like chicken with its head cut off. I'm not going to be chill. You guys have to know that right now. I will probably be the least chill person known to man, but it will get through it, right? So if there's going to be infiltrators, okay, cool. Let them come and we can sit here and laugh at them, just like we do on red days. We laugh on red days, right? If there's going to be people that are going, oh, the shorts have sold, I'd be like, okay, can you show me exactly where they have sold? Because I have not seen the volume, you dumb motherfuckers. Like, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Al.
One of the things that I've seen with these fake shows and all these other people, right? They're very overt. So you know where they're coming from. You know when they are, right? This new breed, as we get closer to this thing, it's going to be more subtle. You're gonna start seeing little indicators that, you know, whether it be social media, it's called social engineering. It's what we use to convince a country, like it's like during the elections and stuff. You're basically trying to convince a mass group of people through advertising and keyword selections to convince you to sell something. It's a big mind fuck, a big psyops, psychological operations. Best thing to do, tune the fuck out. Don't even look at your stocks. Go do your, you know, I don't pay a lick of attention to the price. I don't pay a lick fucking attention. I just don't give a shit because I know they haven't covered, and it's like there's no point in you driving yourself fucking crazy looking at the share price every 10 minutes or hearing the latest fucking garbage, you know, nonsense or DD or whatever. There's none of that stuff matters, man. All you have to do is just sit back and chill and just have an Eskimo pie. I don't know. Do something productive, like just smoke some weed. I shouldn't.
I was gonna say I don't believe smoking weed is productive.
But just anything to get your mind off of it, you know.
No,
go to Vitamin World, pick out some vitamins. I don't know.
100%.
I guess. So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. The only thing I'm trying to advocate for is for us to remain calm, chill the hell out, and just let this thing happen. It's like one of these. It's like you're anticipating it, you're waiting for it, and you want this thing to surprise you. You want one day sitting down, you know, for breakfast or like, you know, late lunch or something, and then getting a bunch of text blasts. And you'll see it all over the news because you'll see the dumps that Ken was talking about. You start seeing all these things tank out of nowhere, and then when you look into your checking account or your brokerage account, and your stock's valued is at like $2,000-$3,000. That's what you want. You want that surprise. You want that ecstasy of being surprised with that huge amount of money in your pocket. What you don't want to do is just sit there and watch and drive yourself crazy because these people on Reddit and these people on Twitter will drive you nuts. They will invade your space, get into your cerebral, and mind fuck you. And you don't want that, man. You see it all the time. It's like, it's caustic anyway. I mean, the amount of dramatics that I've seen in the last couple months has just been insane. Kenna's is like one of the only ones I genuinely enjoy because she regulates it and she's like pretty super smart and she keeps tabs on things, you know. So Kenna, kudos to you for that. Golf claps, just like claps.
I appreciate that. No, I mean, but no, you're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, there's interesting DD that comes out with GameStop, AMC here and there, like the class action lawsuit where we're actually seeing the fact that they effing lied. Like, that is important. That is so crucial, because we were right. It proved we were right. But this is where, why BullHouse exists, why I needed to go into more broad market. And, Al, can you mute your mic? Thank you. But that's why I had to go into broad market, because there's still more to learn. Because if they've done it with these two stocks, they've done it everywhere else. The corruption's everywhere, right? Keep yourself busy. An idle mind is a devil's playground 100% of the time, guys. And we see this. We see this on a daily basis. And there's just no time for it. I mean, yeah, if you want to smoke some weed, whatever. I live in Florida. I get to kind of say stuff like this. That's the nice thing. Go do that and go read some economic books. Go read some government books. Figure out how to make a change. Because if someone can figure this out with me, how we change this shit, I will be forever grateful, because we need the change. We need people in office and stuff that are actually going to do something about what's going on, instead of just sitting idly by and saying, screw you guys, we're going to go bicker about the damn infrastructure bill for the 90th time. Or, oh, hey, by the way, we have a debt ceiling. Oh, yeah, again, the infrastructure bill is more important. Oh, hey, the debt ceiling, we've been trying to figure this out since July. But no, now we have these mandates. We have a baseball game, the Democrat-Republican baseball game, which, why would you do that? It's more division in the country, but whatever. I can't wrap my head around it. And I had somebody say, well, why don't you just run for office? Guess what? If I had the money to do it, I probably would be putting Hambone up to it next year. He's talking about it. Like, our family is gearing up for some kind of either governor race for Florida, or which would be in 5 years, because they can't do next year, or hell, we might go for Senate or White House. We're trying, but we have to be old enough to do that and have state residencies. So thank you, military service, that we don't qualify for some of them now. But no, we're trying. We're trying. And I really want to encourage anybody that is old enough or going to be old enough in the next few years, guys, we got to start doing this. It's our responsibility, right? We're getting to that age where we're old enough to run for office. We're finally there. We are finally there. So we've got to figure it out. So pick up a book, go read, or play a video game. Speaking of, Hambone is actually, I haven't figured out if I'm making a new YouTube channel. I'm going to put this out to you guys, and you guys can kind of tell me. Or just a playlist. He's going to start doing BullHouse Extra, where he just kind of games and kind of, he'll play with the community. You guys can play along with him, whether it's Counter-Strike or his whatever games. I don't know. That's on him. But he's also going to be talking regular sports, esports. He's going to be covering that stuff. So that is going to be BullHouse Extra. So I haven't figured out if I'm doing just a playlist or another channel for it. If you guys want to let me know, that'd be great. I'm definitely hanging out with the right apes because everyone is pretty chill. That's the key, Kenna. Yes, indeed. Now the time is to think about how to be the change you want to see. Yes, 100% D. Couldn't agree more. 100%. But yeah, I appreciate every one of you guys coming up here and talking. Oh, Miss Elaine is wanting to come up. 100%. Yes. We need more girls up here. You guys leave me alone with all these boys. What's going on, Miss Elaine? What's going on?
Hey, good evening, Kenna. I got in here a little late, so I might have missed out. I just have one question. Did you hear about this lie?
Oh boy.
Did you know that Kenny lied?
Oh, I've heard rumblings about it. I can you go into detail about it, because it sounds pretty good.
Well, a friend of another friend was telling me that Kenny lied, that he that he, he may not have talked to them on a specific day, but that he kind of knew what was going on. I mean, I wasn't there to hear it firsthand, but yeah. So
It is so hard to keep this damn straight face. God damn it. I love you. This is amazing. No, yeah, no, 100%. Oh, I mean, I thought under oath you were supposed to tell the truth. And, under oath he said that he didn't have contact and no one in his office had contact. But, I've seen things all around Twitter and YouTube and, other big wigs are saying, hey, maybe there's something there. But, I don't know. Apparently he lied. Maybe
there was
Yeah,
like a scandal or something.
I think we need Maury. Can we get Maury in a lie detector test? Because I really feel like that's going to solve this all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd encourage everybody to try to read between the lines that there's multiple different segments of Citadel. Like they said, Citadel Securities didn't talk, but what about, Citadel LLC or some of the other branches? And did they text message? Did they send carrier pigeons? It might say they didn't speak, or,
It was smoke.
but there's, yeah.
It was smoke. Like they did
Right.
the Indian smoke signals. So
Yeah, it could
from
be.
what I understand, and it was on the 28th, not the 27th.
I heard that Vice News broke a story about it earlier, and there was some sort of internal leak from someone that was familiar with the matter. I don't know anything about it. I heard from a friend of a friend, but it was an interesting read.
It wasn't on one of your flights, was it?
I maybe Vice News quoted Citadel Air. I don't know. It's possible, but it's from a friend of a friend. Who's to say who was flying the plane and who heard what?
Who knows at this point. No, Miss Elaine, that was great. I really appreciated that.
I'm here for you, Kenna. Whatever you need. If you need me to run grab snacks, I've got that too. So, or if you're thirsty,
Kenna.
I can be your bodyguard. I mean, if you have small
Can you hear me, darling?
pursuers.
100%, Miss Elaine. I think Laura can't hear you, Miss Elaine. The Twitter space is gonna get funky here probably soon.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll
No,
be
I
quiet
can
so
hear
Laura
her.
can speak. Oh, hi, Laura.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just fetching some snacks.
Oh, good.
Snacks are always good.
Yeah, snacks. Yeah, definitely always. So, one thing I wanted to bring up was the whole Evergrande, or however you say it, Evergrande, the whole China real estate situation, and how they defaulted on a payment. Well, they defaulted on the 23rd on an offshore bond payment, but they have like a 30-day grace period for that before it's officially considered defaulted. And so that means like by October 23rd, if they haven't satisfied that obligation, in addition to all the other obligations that they have in the meantime, they, China is going to blow up the global economy pretty much here within the next month.
Yep, they are. It's gonna be
anyway,
gnarly.
I just wanted, yeah, and like once that happens, if there's any reverberation through the financial system, which I'm sure there will be, I mean, do y'all think that will cause like the MOASS? I think it's possible, like for real, like within the next month.
I think October is going to be a very, very interesting month. Like I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not setting dates. I'm not doing anything. I just think in general, October is going to be a very interesting month given debt ceiling, moratoriums expiring, mandates and stuff, people losing their jobs.
The debt ceiling not being raised, like this whole Evergrande situation, like the $1.4 trillion in a reverse repo market. I mean, it just kind of seems like the bubble's ready to pop. Like,
100%. 100%. It's
I mean, but I've been saying this shit since February. So,
I feel you. I feel you. It was we were actually talking about it at dinner about how we felt Hambone and I felt crazy all this time. You know, we've been calling the housing bubble, the crypto bubble, tech bubble, all these different bubbles, and it's just one by one they start falling, and we're just like, okay, so we weren't crazy. That's good. But now what the fuck?
and like it really is, you know, like this psychological warfare that the hedgies are playing on us, like, you know, trying to make us sell, like, because or trying to make us panic sell or whatever. I mean, my husband, like, God bless his soul. I mean, he lets me take care of the finances, even though I'm a stay-at-home wife, because I'm better with money than he is. And so I have taken like his savings, like the money that he worked for, and have invested it. I mean, back in like February or late January, and I've been telling him this whole time, oh, just give it another 2 weeks, you know, like, oh, no, I swear, like, something's gonna happen here soon, man. Like, I've been telling him this shit for 9 months, and he's been a really good sport about it for 9 months, but now he's starting to be like, you know, I would like to go on a vacation with my wife. When's the last time you went to the spa? Like, I'm sitting here right now, like, my toenails are not painted. My haircut I haven't gotten a haircut in like over a year because every single like spare dollar I get, I invest into AMC. And it's like starting to affect my relationship now though, because he's like, you know, I don't want to put my life on hold any longer. And it's been kind of unfair for me to ask him to do that for this long, you know, but I'm like, I don't want to sell our shares to like do something trivial like a vacation, right?
No, 100%. Go ahead, can't stop.
Sorry, nah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I guess we are playing a very different game than I guess the rest of everyone, because we do have our daughter who's 2, and I didn't want to personally take away her life experiences as a 2-year-old. I know she won't remember them, but I'll remember them. I don't want to, you know, I want to have the memories of, you know, taking her here and there and whatnot. So,
How old is your daughter?
She's 2.5.
Oh.
And so, and since she's our one and only, like, we don't get this time back. We never get to do these moments again. And so, that was just kind of like, okay, we have this amount that we set aside for GameStop, AMC, whatever, and our investments. And then if we can, you know, we had the rest of our portfolio that we'd flip and play with, and we still flip and play with and whatnot. But, I wasn't going to make her life, you know, reduced for something that may or may not happen. I'm not saying it won't happen, but, you know, you just never know, and we don't know how long it was going to be. And
well,
so, yeah.
I mean, I have a 1-year-old daughter, and you better believe, like, she is wearing the best clothes. Like, that kid is cute, all right? Like, that kid is living a life that I never lived. And I want to make sure that she lives a life that, like, I never could have even dreamed of, like, for her, you know? Like, I mean, it's tough, you know? Like, I don't want to look my husband in the face and be like, too fucking bad. Like, you have to wait till after the mother of all short squeezes to get a vacation. I don't know when that's gonna be, you know, but
100%. No,
it's like I think like in my soul I'm doing the right thing for my family, you know, but yeah, it's just like it's getting harder to defend my position, you know, like because it's been so long.
You can just remind him that, you know, if it takes longer than a year, there's less taxes you got to pay.
That's damn right. Oh my god.
Good point, can't
I just
stop.
wanted to pop in. I just wanted to pop in really quickly and say something to Miscellaneous. Miscellaneous, you're like part of a group of 3 people that I let people know of like what's going on, and I just want to let you know I did take the part 1 and I didn't pass, but I'm still gonna try to pass that test. I'm still gonna do what I want to do, and I'm still gonna study hard to make sure to get that passing grade, and maybe one day make you proud. not that I haven't already, but just to say like I'm not giving up. So I just want to let you know that, Miss Elaine, because you have been in accordance with one of those people that has come up here and has, in one sense or another, chewed my ass out for saying stuff like about myself and just constantly coming up and just being like, Joseph, shut the fuck up. You're smart, you're intellectual, and you know how to do your shit. So I just want to let you know that your words haven't gone to waste, your time hasn't gone to waste, and your advice definitely has not gone to waste. I'm definitely taking advantage of all the opportunities I have to be able to go on the internet and basically harvest the data, write it down, and study hard so that I can be a better person at the end of the day and do what you're doing, which is helping individuals in every way possible. So I just wanted to take this moment that I have to just speak to you and just let you know that, because while I could say it over DM, I think being able to say it out of word of mouth is has a different value to it. So I just wanted to say that I'm gonna get off this space on the basis that I do need to head back to studying. But I just wanted to say miscellaneous, at least to me, you mean something, and that's a very big thing. But just wanted to just say that. Thank you for being willing to hear and giving me the time to say that. Thank you all, and miscellaneous, thank you just for being you. Just a tutor. I'm out. Thank you for your time and your ears. Catch y'all later.
Thanks, Insert. That was so kind. I loved hearing that. And Miscellaneous, you're just a rock star in general. So I mean, but I'm not.
Go,
He,
miscellaneous.
he's already pumped up your ego, so you know. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love it. That's why I love the ape community. You know, we're here for each other 100% of the time. At least in the BullHouse, 100% of the time. You're always welcome to do whatever you need to do, say what you need to say. I will never censor you guys. You know that. With that all being said, does anybody have any final thoughts for tonight? If not, we are going to wrap it up so I can go get some food because I am now officially starving. Nope. All right. Can't stop.
I was just to say thank you again.
Oh,
It was great.
anytime. Well, almost every time, every day, guys.
Yeah, thank you,
I-
Kenna.
I am taking tomorrow off. If you're hearing it now, tomorrow I am off. I have nothing to talk about tomorrow.
I feel like I heard that last time. I don't know what to think here.
Hush, you guys. No, I do want to call out my Bull staff. You guys have been epic, and I know I've been going crazy, and I'd never ever require you guys to ever come on here be here every day, because that's too much. Especially when we don't really make anything. Like I do have a plan, so we're I think, and I mean, you guys are completely epic. For the super chats, the super stickers, and the ads and everything, whatever you guys are doing to support BullHouse right now. We're about 300 at $1,000. I'm going to do our first donation so that we can do $300 to a charity of your guys' choosing. So I'm letting it just kind of fester and grow and everything. So once we get to that 1,000 mark, we're going to drop a $300 donation. We're going to figure out what charity you guys want to do. Is that cool? Yeah. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and once we get to that point. And then my staff, you guys are amazing. I always can count on you. And everyone that's paying attention, guys, keep up the work. I keep getting DMs from people that are like, oh hey, I heard about you from so and so. I checked you out. You guys are great. Blah 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 blah. Passing the word around. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, and I'm going to put this word out there. For the November magazine, I'm starting to think about it. I would like some content creators, whether it's your NFTs you guys want printed in there, and it won't be printed, it's digital. But NFT creators, I would like some of you guys, anyone that's writing stuff, if you guys want to try to put it in there. I can't offer anything right now. I'm hoping eventually at some point I can pay content creators once the magazine's up and running. But if you have some great DD that you've already posted and you want it in there, as you guys just saw on YouTube, that my phone is now dying. But if you guys want to be a part of the November one, that will be the second edition. So first one should be going out on the 5th, and I'm excited for that. Other than that, Thursday off. We're doing the COVID DD. I have some stuff from Average Ape. COVID DD is coming around, and it's pretty juicy. Johnny Rocket, I chat. Johnny Rocket, thank you for the $100 super chat. What? That was not a call for that. Don't. What? Thank you. Holy crap, dude. I'm officially speechless. Like, dude, you're gonna make me cry. I'm not even joking. On that note, I'm gonna just log off now. No, Johnny Rocket, you're completely amazing. Thank you, and I appreciate it 100%. But yeah, I if you guys do have something that you want me to add into the magazine, please let me know. DM me or through Discord or whatever it is. So I will see you guys on Friday. Good night, everybody.